Mad Dog 2001 here today. As you can read above, this is going to be a baseball-orientated video of the St. Louis Cardinals, my favorite team. Yeah, on my hat you see the Josh Hancock tribute, and then on the other side, the Darryl Kyle tribute. Anyways, for any of those that were always wondering when I wear this hat, what those said, that's what it is. First things first, St. Louis just got done with their series with Philadelphia. And this was going to be our biggest test, straight off the bat, because if we want to contend in the National League this year, and I mean, I'm not even talking about the NL Central, because the NL Central is a joke to begin with. Besides St. Louis, there really isn't like a second-tier team. You have the Cubs that just can't even beat anybody now. The Brewers are just too inconsistent, and the Reds, they can't even beat St. Louis. So it's not like the Reds are going to do anything. Though I do like Cincinnati a lot as far as like a team that's got rolling. But with that put aside, Philly had the edge coming into this series because, first of all, we didn't have Carpenter in this series, and I think that's a big hit. The matchups were not very good. We had, and a lot of people say, well, if this was a best-of-7 game series, you'd be down 3-1. I disagree, and this is why I disagree. First of all, Jaime Garcia would not have started Game 1 of a championship series unless of the pitching matchups. That's just the way it worked out. And same thing with Philadelphia, wouldn't have started their Game 1 starter that they started. It would have been Roy Halladay versus Chris Carpenter. And I will still sit here, and I will receive hate on this, but I will still sit here and say Carpenter is a better pitcher than Halladay. Well, yeah, I will say that. Fuck it, dude. I'm going on a limb. I'm saying he's better. Because you know what? Their acolytes are the same. They both are former Cy Young Award pitchers. Carpenter arguably could have won it last year. I thought Wainwright should have won it, but whatever. They're both acolytes are the same. They came from the same fucking team with Toronto. So as far as that's concerned, yes. And the one thing is, Carpenter does have a World Series ring, and he did contribute a lot to that team, if any of you can remember that. So yeah, I'll go off and say Carpenter's better than Roy Halladay. As of right now, Halladay is the better pitcher so far this year. Carpenter got roughed up in Milwaukee earlier this year, so his ERA has suffered quite a bit. Even though it's a solid 2.84, I'll take that any day of the week. That's typical Carpenter for you. And Roy Halladay will have more strikeouts than Carpenter, but those that know my vids, I always have said strikeouts are overrated. That you work the pitch count more. What's the difference between winning 19 going 19-10 or whatever, 19-9, with not as many strikeouts, but you still pitch as many innings? So I mean, like, what's the difference? To me, I just think that pitchers to contact. I mean, Carpenter's one of those guys that he can strike you out and he'll pitch to contact, and he will. And the guy just throws strikes. He doesn't really pitch around guys. He doesn't nitpick. He does paint a lot, but Carpenter is definitely above that tier of elite pitchers. And same thing with Adam Wainwright. I think Wainwright's better than Carpenter, in my opinion. So, with that said, there are a couple questionable moves in this series. Nick Stavinola should not be starting. I don't understand it. LaRussa just is. He's been doing this for years, and he tends to always want to he always wants to platoon his outfield and platoon the infield. I'm so sick of it. Ryan Ludwig should be starting every day, and Kobe Rasmus should be starting every day, and Matt Halladay should be starting every day, and once in a while give those guys off days, but not when you play a team like Philadelphia. Like, we had this game against Roy Halladay. We gave up. We gave up the whole game. We started our worst pitcher, it was Kyle Loshe, who I think is horrible. We started Jason LaRue, which I understand Yadier needed an off day. But Yadier should have had an off day in the Cincinnati series. And that should have, I mean, he's only had, what, one off day since the 20-inning game? So, Yadier should have had his off day earlier, or they should have gave him the off day tonight. With that said, Nick Stavinoa should have been starting in right field, or I think it was right. Ludwig should have been batting. And another thing, Brendan Ryan, Tyler Green should not be starting either. So, with all that said, you would have possibly a different ball game, because we had them on the we had Holiday on the ropes early and often throughout the entire game. It's just that, you know, Matt Holiday didn't come through when he didn't come through in the clutch, and when he had like 8 runners on base and he couldn't do anything with it. But you know what? Good pitching will always beat good hitting any day of the week, and anyone would say that. Another thing, I need to touch on this whole lefty-lefty matchup that LaRussa always likes to do. We don't have Felipe Lopez right now. Aaron Miles is still in the minors. So Schumacher should be starting every day. I don't care about the whole lefty-lefty matchup thing anymore, because if Schumacher's if he's a major leaguer, he should be starting, regardless of whether he's right or left. And he didn't play against Cole Hamels. I understand it, but the guy he had to replace him was a joke. Putting Tyler Green or whoever they choose, it's not like Aaron Miles is ready to play in the majors yet, and it's not like Felipe Lopez is, ready to go. When Felipe comes back, then you can switch those two off, because Schumacher and Lopez are the same style of hitter. They're slap hitters, and they hit for high averages. Another thing, the pitching staff this year, I think, is phenomenal. With Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, Brad Penny, who I do not like, and then Jaime Garcia, who I really like. Jaime. Kyle Loshe needs to go. We shouldn't have given him that big fucking deal. We have him for like 4 more years. He's like our Jeff Suppan, I guess, in a way. Or Milwaukee's Jeff Suppan. I don't know what we're going to do with this guy. Honestly, I like Blake Hawksworth a lot, even though he did give up 2 home runs in the series. But, I think that's a fluke, as shit happens. Hawksworth, I think, should be in the rotation. Loshe shouldn't even be on the team. Loshe is not good. He can't go. It's not like he's an innings eater, because how many innings has he actually pitched this year? And how many times... Cardinal fans, you can relate to this. How many times when Kyle Loshe takes the mound, you can't even watch the game? Seriously. I knew Loshe was pitching, so I didn't watch the first 4 innings, because I knew I just can't. I'll throw something or break my TV. I cannot watch him pitch. He just angers me so much. He nitpicks. He never goes after anybody anymore, and he walks guys now. He never used to do that either. And I don't like the fact that St. Louis will go out there and they'll just sign some shitty ass pitcher, or a pitcher that had potential but is nowhere near good anymore, and then they expect Dave Duncan to turn him into a Cy Young caliber pitcher. I mean, he did it with Chris Carpenter, and he did it with I guess you could say he's doing pretty good with Brad Penny. But Brad Penny doesn't listen to anybody. I can sell that right away. He doesn't look at the signs. He ignores everything Yadier tells him to do, and that will come back to haunt him eventually. It's just a matter of time before he gets roughed up, because he just won't listen to Yadier, or Yadier is just going to freak out on him. So, first of all, if you're a pitcher, you got to listen to Yadier, because Yadier is like the best catcher in the National League, period. Not best hitter, but, the best catcher. There is no one better. But with that said, we have Pittsburgh tonight. That should be interesting. I might come on here later and talk about that game if I watch it. I might not have time though. But Carpenter's going tonight against Zach Duke. Zach Duke's a pitcher of mine I like. And then hopefully Ryan Ludwig starts over Nick Stavinoa. Mad Dog 2001 out.